Trey Lance has reworked his throwing motion. What does it all mean? The good, the bad, and otherwise. We'll hit it next. Of course, the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show video brought to you by Pig in a Pickle. 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both locations now from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. Get the brisket and get the brisket chili. Really, really amazing. All right, let's talk Trey Lance. Trey Lance put out this video today, and I don't know if Trey put it out or Jeff Christensen, his throwing coach, put it out, or Trey's agent put it out, but I think it's overwhelmingly positive for Trey Lance. What does it all mean? Well, does it guarantee that Trey is going to be better? I think it kind of does, actually, but Trey has been working with Jeff Christensen, former NFL quarterback who played at Eastern Illinois, had a cup of coffee with the 3 different NFL teams in the 80s, on his throwing mechanics. And I think just the first thing that you can see when you're watching this video is that the ball is held in a resting spot higher now, and there's less of a loop overall in Trey's motion. But, you know, I mean, and to me, that is definitely a positive. Is it the end-all, be-all? Does it answer every question? Does suddenly it make Trey Lance the front runner for the starting job? No, and no. But he's definitely keeping the ball higher now. Instead of holding it around his hip, he's holding it closer to where it's actually going to come out. And so his entire motion is streamlined. The more you streamline your motion, I think the better overall, because you're giving defensive backs less time to break on your ball. It's no different, really, than a Major League Baseball hitter cleaning up a hitch in his swing. If you hold your hands here as a hitter, and then you got to bring them back and then bring them forward, that's a hitch. So you want to start with your hands back, and all your motion comes forward. We're talking about a baseball player now. And a swing. You don't see baseball players hold the bat right in front of their face and then bring it back and bring it forward. Why? Because guys are throwing 98 miles an hour. And when guys are throwing that hard, you're not going to be able to bring it back and bring it forward and make contact with the baseball. As far as an NFL quarterback, you don't want to hold the ball low in its resting spot and then have to bring it up and loop it around and then release it forward. It's just too long. And that elongated motion gives defensive backs more time to break on your football. It also means that there's more spots for more problem spots that for your in your motion. And then what about on these situations where, somebody defensive end breaks through, the offensive tackle whiffs on the block, and now the defensive end's sitting in your lap. If your hand is low and you've got an elongated motion, you just got to take that sack. If you're resting the ball higher, you're quicker to where you're going to throw it from, and it's a quicker release, and you can get rid of it quicker. So overall, what I'm seeing in the Lance motion is a guy who's quickening his release and making it where he's holding the football in its resting spot is far closer to where he's going to release it. And he's simplifying his mechanics, and he's cutting out the excess. And I think that's all from working with Jeff Christensen, and it's an overwhelming positive. Now, why I think you all should kind of pump the brakes if you're thinking this is just the solution. Quarterback play is about a lot more than just quickening your stroke. It's a lot more than a short stroke and better throwing mechanics. It's about processing what you see. It's about timing. And overall, it's about accuracy. How much can Trey put on the football with taking out a lot of the motion? Does he lose any arm strength? Does he lose any arm speed? Can he still zip the ball? The one thing Christensen's worked with Jimmy Garoppolo in the past, Garoppolo had a very short, very compact release, a very quick release, and he could generate a lot of velocity on the ball without a lot of windup. He could just flick it and the ball would come out with great velocity. We don't know if Trey can do that or not. We saw him cut out a lot of the extra movement in his release, but can he still throw with the same velocity? Can he still throw with the same power? Can he still get it into a tight window on a deep out? Can he still throw the ball down the field with the same power that he did before? Or does he lose power? That's the first question. Also, this doesn't change his ability to process, and it really doesn't change his timing. If anything, it may make it more challenging to throw with timing because you've changed how long your release is. So that means you have to speed up your timing because the ball's coming out faster. And that just means you got to adjust. How much is he thrown this way? And can he continue to throw this way when there's live bullets? When there's defensive ends, boring down on him. One thing Kyle Shanahan has maintained is that, man, you can, you throw the way you throw. And that you can tinker with your throwing mechanics. You can make changes. But under duress, under pressure, with a 300-pound defensive lineman basically parking himself in your lap, do you regress back to what is familiar and what's comfortable, or can you stay with your new mechanics? Can you stay with your shorter throw? Can you hold the ball in a resting spot and release it quicker and stay with that even under duress and under pressure and under stress? That we're going to find out only in real reps against real opponents in game situations. And that's really the question. But playing quarterback, it's about your timing, it's about your accuracy, and it's about your ability to process. I think Trey can process what he sees well. But now with this new motion, that changes the timing. And overall, it's one thing to have a camera showing us him. It's another thing to actually show us him hitting his target with accuracy. Can he do it? And that part is unknown. The other thing is, a big part about playing quarterback is not just processing and timing and accuracy. It's also being able to throw with anticipation after you process with the proper timing and the proper accuracy. Can he make those anticipatory throws? How will he play in a game versus live action versus live NFL defenses? Overall, I would say it's a huge positive. Why? Because the hitch was preventing him from getting the ball out on time. It also basically made it where he was a one-style thrower. I mean, you have your throwing motion, but you watch NFL football, if you watch Patrick Mahomes, if Patrick Mahomes makes 30 throws in a game, how many of them are out of his ideal motion? A lot of them have to be sped up just because of the defense. Sometimes he's going sidearm. Sometimes he's shuffle passing it. Sometimes he's backhanding it. And ultimately it comes down to urgency. And can Trey play with that? Can he keep those mechanics, process what he sees, have great timing, have great accuracy, throw with anticipation, and play with that urgency? Steve Young, I felt, and I've told Steve this, I thought Steve played his entire career with the 49ers with this unbelievable third down on the goal line like urgency. And it was one of the traits that really defined him as a quarterback. The guy played with unbelievable passion and unbelievable urgency. I think Trey needs some of that, but he also needs to cut out this hitch, and he needs to process, throw with timing, throw with accuracy, and make those anticipation throws. Throw a guy open. Lead a receiver away from the coverage and into the open spot. Throw a variety of throws. You're not always going to be able to load up and flick it the way you want to do it. Sometimes you're going to have to you're going to have to speed that up. Sometimes you're going to have to loft it over a defender. There's going to be times you're going to have to take a little off your fastball and get it in there. It's about throwing a catchable football. But overall, you can't really have consistency because a lot of it's about, it's not about can Trey do it or not. He shows in practice he can do it. It's about consistency. Can he do it consistently? And when you simplify your mechanics, the odds of you being able to replicate that on a consistent basis go up. And once you can replicate your mechanics on a consistent basis, now I think I'm a believer that that improves your overall accuracy. It's a challenge, though. Your processing's your processing totally separate. But when you change the length of your motion, you're changing the timing on your throwing. And so you need to kind of recalibrate your timing to your new motion. You're resting the ball closer to your release point, and so your overall, from resting point to release is a shorter track than what you had prior. How does that impact your timing? You're going to have to make that throw over and over and over again so that you know exactly how to time your passes, because that's what playing quarterback's about. Processing what you see, throwing on time, throwing with accuracy. Improving and simplifying the mechanics will improve your accuracy. It won't help your processing, and it's not going to help your timing. In fact, you're going to have to adjust to the new timing of your throwing mechanism and of your mechanics. So overall, though, I think it's a positive. Why? Because when you have elongated mechanics, it's really hard to speed up. If you've got a long throwing motion and a defensive end or defensive tackles bearing down on you, and you suddenly have to make a lightning quick decision and throw, if you've got a long, deliberate motion, the odds of you being accurate are not good. The odds of you getting that pass off are not good. So overwhelmingly, I would say this video, if you're watching it, you can see the motion is cleaner. The motion is shorter. And to sum it up, I think what you're really seeing is Trey Lance is holding the ball at its resting spot a lot closer to where he's going to release it, and he's cut out a lot of the loop in his throw. And that's going to be a positive. It's absolutely going to help his accuracy. It's also going to, I think, help eliminate any kind of inconsistency, and it's going to help him against, rushers that are sitting in his lap, forcing him to get rid of the ball right now. He's going to be able to get rid of the ball faster, and I think overall it should help his accuracy. He's going to have to make an adjustment timing-wise to, the new speed of his motion, but overall, I think it's a huge positive, and I can't wait to see what he looks like when they hit the field Wednesday in Santa Clara for training camp. All right, hope you enjoyed our video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show, and thanks to all of you for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.